What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Aydian here, and Jaylee and I are in Hawaii. So we are vacationing. This is our first vacation. I know I've mentioned this before, but it's our first vacation in the 7 years we've been together. And not to say that doesn't mean we haven't had fun and done adventures and gone places, but usually they're work related. So this was the first vacation we actually saved up, and I surprised her for our 5-year anniversary, which was in January, that as her gift for her birthday and for our 5-year anniversary, our wedding anniversary, that we were going to go to Hawaii. So here we are. It's beautiful. We are in Waikiki. We're staying in Waikiki. We got an Airbnb. That's actually Jaylee right there. She is about to go in the water, and I am gonna meet her there. But beforehand, I wanted to get this video up because I promised you guys that I would take you guys along with us. Here we are, and this is, I believe that this is week 8 for Monday Motivation. And yeah, let's just dive right into the episode. No pun intended. So I wanted to talk a little bit in this video about how things, they don't happen overnight. And I thought that being here in Waikiki would be a good example of that, because Jaylee and I have been together for 7 years, and you know, we have had a lot of struggles in the beginning of our relationship as far as money and stuff like that. When I first met Jaylee, she was going to college. She was getting her master's, so definitely if you guys have been to college, you know what being a broke college student is, and that's what Jaylee was. I was living on the island. I was going to community college, and then I went to pastry school, and I was just working as a waiter in a nursing home, real low-key stuff. You know, I was just thinking, like, you know, if you told me 7 years ago or 5 years ago that this is where we would be, I probably wouldn't have believed you. And that's because at certain points in Jaylee and I's relationship, we've literally had no money. We used to, an old friend of ours, Quinn, he had a place downtown, and when he would go away a lot with his partner, and he would let us use his place, and it was downtown. Now, it was the exact same city that we lived in, but we would try to make it really special just because we knew that we weren't going to be able to go away. I hope you can hear me, by the way. I know that it's kind of windy, so I'm talking really close to the camera. But yeah, so we would make it really special, and, you know, we've had, you know, we were on food stamps at one point. We had an EBT card. We also have, you know, I mean, you know, we've literally had times where, you know, we didn't buy each other Christmas gifts for our whole relationship except for the first year. Birthday gifts, our whole relationship except for the first year. Last year, we gave ourselves on Christmas a $50 spending budget, $100 between the both of us. And it's not that money matters, it's just that, you know, we learned amazing ways to have beautiful, awesome, fun-ass times without having a lot of money. You know, even this trip is a low-key trip, you know, like, we are trying our best to feel deserving of this time here. You know, we've had, you know, we had budgets for food. Like, we've literally, like, had $100 for food and had ketchup that, like, put us over $103, and we would return the ketchup and wait till next week to get it, you know, because we were so budgeted. Jaylee didn't have a job for a little bit of time. We were living off of, I was making anywhere from $400 to $500 a week before taxes. So, you know, and this isn't to be like, oh, pity me. That's actually the opposite. What I want to get through in this video is that things don't happen overnight, even though sometimes they allude to happening overnight. And I bet you've heard this before, like the success story of that famous person that you look up to or whatever, right? Like, they didn't just have one movie and then all of a sudden that was it. They were set for life. You could probably look at people in your local community, like, big things happen. I mean, I was on Ellen, but that didn't mean that, like, everything's set from then on, you know? Being on Ellen didn't all of a sudden make me, you know, have money and have a reputation that is good, and you know what I mean? So things don't happen necessarily overnight, but what they do happen is little things happen over time that elude and really actually manifest big things. So, you know, Jaylee and I, sorry, I was getting tired bending over. So Jaylee and I, you know, us having all those years, it made going on little trips feel really, really special, you know? Like, we feel so blessed to be on this trip right now. Like, beyond, you know? I mean, look at this. I hope you can see it. But like, it's gorgeous here, you know? And I've been talking to some other people who've had some successes along the way in their life, and they say the same thing, you know? But people from the outside perspective, they don't get that. They don't realize that this is just one thing that happened in my whole life, you know? That like, it all is a collection. It's a collection of little things, little successes that add up to these really big, amazing accomplishments. And so, you know, and I really feel like having had those times of having to put ketchup back at the grocery store, of literally, you know, not really making friends because they all wanted to go out and we couldn't go out because we didn't have any money, you know what I mean? You know, not having cable because we can't afford it. Just like little things like that, you know? And so yeah, I think some people look at me and they see me where I'm at now, and you know, you might be tuning into this and it's maybe your first episode you've ever seen of my videos, and you're like, whoa, this dude's in Hawaii, like he must be loaded, you know? And it's just not the case, you know? We work really hard, and everybody that, you know, anyone who's successful, who's actually long-term successful, they worked their ass off to get there. It wasn't something that happened overnight. And so I just want us to remember that in this Instagram world we live in this YouTube world we live in, things take time, and you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to know that like overnight success, it just isn't real, you know? They say like, oh, the average overnight success takes 5 years. You know, and I can relate to that because, you know, let's say, you know, I started doing videos in 2009 and really getting out there, being an activist, you know, 2012, 2013, 2014, and in 2015, 5 years after my first, actually 5.5 years after my first YouTube video, is when all of a sudden I was on the cover of Men's Health magazine. I was on Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, that's when things really happened. So nobody knew of me, but I'd been around for 5 years, you know? Same thing with my clothing company, you know, like 0.5cc, you know, like, a lot of people still don't know about it. But some people think that, like, I'm out here living rich because of 0.5cc, and it's like, nah, bro, like, I started a nonprofit, and, like, you know, that's not going to be an overnight success. Just because my name is attached to my nonprofit, Point of Pride, doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're just going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and be flying people across the world to get their surgeries. And, you know, like, things are going to take time. And so I've had to learn that, you know, not one thing is just going to put you over the edge. Now, one thing might make you realize the manifestations and the intentions of where you want to go and the direction you want to be in, you know. So I just, you know, I'm a little out of it, but I'm a little all over the place with this video because, well, hell, because I have a nice, beautiful distraction all around me, right? Let's just be real. But I think the point is that I didn't want it to come off like a woe is me video. It's not like, I deserve this, and I worked my ass off to be here. And I did work my ass off, and I do feel like I deserve it, and that's a whole nother video of that, you know, feeling deserving of even being here. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I just wanted you guys to remember that things take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And that once you can realize that, once you realize, I mean, that's why they say fall in love with the journey. Because you know what? Any successful person that you're looking up to, they got to their success, and 2 weeks later, they were like, now what? What's next? You know? I mean, really, think about it. Because if you get to the top of your mountain and you're done, you got nothing to look forward to. That's it. You're there. What's next? Next, you're like, where's a mountain that's bigger than this? I want to climb that one. You know? And so, just remember that. You know, just remember that it is about the journey. And I'm trying to learn this more and more and more. I'm trying to tune into this concept of the journey more and more and more. And I really hope you can hear me because the wind is crazy up in here and I'm talking so fucking close to this camera. People probably think I'm kind of weird, but that's not anything new. So, but yeah, so keep that in mind. You know, it's a journey. It takes time to get there. And if you guys have been following me since day one, you know it took some fucking time to get here. And to get to the next place I want to be, it's going to take time to get there. And then I'm going to get there and I'm going to want to go somewhere else. And then it's going to take time to get there. So I just feel like that's what they mean by fall in love with the journey. Because once you get to that accomplishment, you're going to be looking for another thing. You don't just like, you know, get to the top and kick back. Because then you're like, you get bored. And you're like, all right, well, what's next? You know? So just keep that in mind. Stay humble. Remember that, you know, if you keep pushing, you will get there. It just takes some time, man. Just take some time. Alright, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that this video wasn't too, like, crazy and shaky and hard to hear me. But I appreciate all the love. I appreciate you guys enjoying these videos. And, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.